Hello, my name is Gam Dias, co-founder and chief data strategist at MoData. What's the big deal about big data? Well, over the past few years and months, you might have heard the term big data, and more than likely, you're developing a craving for it. Just like a new breakfast cereal or the latest model car, the marketers are hard at work. Big data, as we're hearing it, is basically a marketing message being employed mostly by technology vendors and consultants. So, what am I doing here as a technology vendor and a consultant? Trying to do myself out of business? Well, I'm here to tell you that there's something behind all of this, something very valuable to your business, a source of cost savings and revenue opportunities. And the most interesting thing is that it's based on some simple business principles that you already understand very well. Big data. What do we mean by it? There's always been data from the earliest times. How many people lived in a city? How many apples did we grow? How many tons of steel were produced? Computers allowed us to capture and calculate more of that data. How long did it take to make a car? How much would it cost to make one more car? Today, we have sensors that tell us how many times a vehicle changed gear. Today, we have social media. What did people think of the new Tesla? Of Donald Trump's speech? Today, we have video data. How big was that demonstration in Texas? Is something blocking a rail crossing? Tomorrow, we'll have more sensors. We'll have more social media and more people using them. We'll have more video. There is just more data. Quite a lot more. Large enterprises are generating petabytes of data each year. The entire Library of Congress is 2 petabytes. And what's most interesting to data scientists is that this data is all being stored. Since the advent of management science, businesses have cut costs, expanded markets, and improved efficiencies by observing systems and looking at the data. Today, it's no different, except we have more data and more computing power to draw out the insights. There is a huge opportunity in most large organizations to leverage all of that data. I'm going to give you a few examples in the consumer space of where big data is being used that will touch you in your everyday lives. Amazon tracks every product that every one of its customers searches for, looks at, or puts into the shopping cart, and then purchases. When you search for a product, in amongst the search results, you will see recommended items. Amazon is using some heavy-duty analytics to make those recommendations to you based on what other people who bought that product also bought. This has been hugely successful for Amazon and has been one of the things that has allowed them to retain their position of #1 online retailer since they began. Mobile phone companies keep call detail records, primarily so that at the end of the month they can bill you correctly. However, the byproduct of this is social network data that is more real and true than Facebook's. Your mobile company knows who you call, which days, and what time of day you call them, and how long those calls are for. Thinking about this, when they start looking at names, billing addresses, and call times behind the calls, they can tell who is your family, who are your friends. They can tell when you make a new contact and the strength of that contact over time. They can tell if you're calling around car dealers to buy a new car. This is real data on real people whom you deal with, not just Facebook friends or social media followers. Using this data, they have discovered that if a person switches mobile providers, their immediate network of friends and family is more likely to switch for a period of around 3 weeks. So when you receive a seemingly random offer from your phone company, it's probably an attempt to stop you leaving anytime soon because they know one of your friends has left. So take a look at your own organization. You know you're generating data. You probably already have a reporting system, analytics, and some executive dashboards that give you a pulse on your business. Somewhere, there may be a data mining or data science team sifting through the masses of data, looking for cost savings, efficiency of revenue opportunities. As an executive, how can you process and ensure that those opportunities are realized all the way to the bottom line? This is where things change, where we need to become entrepreneurial with respect to data, how we spot new sources of data, new insights, and most importantly, the business inflection points where something can be changed. This is what we at MoData call the data mindset. Well, a good comedian is able to look at an everyday situation and see the humor. Just like that, the data mindset allows you to look at a business process or activity, then see the data and an opportunity to leverage it, to turn what you see through 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and look at it from a different perspective, perhaps adding more data sources so that 2 plus 2 can equal 5. So I'm going to show you an example of how we turn data through 90 degrees. If you know LinkedIn, social network, professional social network is essentially a collection of resumes and CVs. Now, if you group the resumes by school or university, you get an alumni list. If you group them by current employer, you get a list of organizations. Recruiters pay to search LinkedIn and headhunt. However, if we start turning this data through 90 degrees and see what LinkedIn can see, first, it's able to assess the quality of an employee by looking at the schools they went to and what degree they earned there, whether that degree was appropriate to their job. They're able to see a career path over time and spot the fast movers who moved up quickly through an organization. They look at recommendations and endorsements and augment this with the companies and the contacts they have. And over time, the thing that LinkedIn can also observe, assuming people's updates are accurate, they see the movement of people between organizations. They can tell if Walmart is recruiting more buyers and merchandisers in Brazil. They can see that print newspapers are recruiting web experts and perhaps losing career journalists. And they're using this information to help their paying customers, the recruiters, better target companies and people that are growing. Now, once we understand the data, the challenge is really about taking action. The best actions are not a huge policy change or a new marketing campaign. The best actions are tiny and take place at the user level. Here's an old example. UPS, the parcel delivery company, is continually looking at fuel costs, delivery times, and vehicle and driver effectiveness. There's plenty of data on orders, pickup time, drop-off times, driver timesheets, and customer satisfaction. Yet, when UPS added in one other source, the telematics data from their delivery trucks, they were able to see the route in a new light, the time spent waiting at stoplights and before turning left. This resulted in a very tiny action. Advise drivers to turn right if they can. And that action alone resulted in massive fuel savings, time savings, and cost savings. So, big data may come over as a marketing message, but there really is something very deep there. So what does this mean for your business? Where are the cost savings? Where are the efficiency improvements? And how can we find them? Well, big data and analytics will allow us to look at what's really happening in our business and then take a small action that makes a big difference. Let's say we look at all of the aging inventory of parts. We might spot a number of different cases, some with valid reasons for the part to be on the shelf for 24 months. Perhaps where it's not valid, the next time somebody tries to order a part that is likely to age, we could just send them a reminder. If reminders like that were issued every time somebody does something that impacts cost, we'd be nudging ourselves into greater profitability. So the promise of big data is really about asking better questions. My name is Gam Dias. Thank you very much for listening. You can reach me on gam.dias@mo-data.com.